certain leaders who on the stage, there is testimony.
Well, Rahul, stay with me. All right, what we're getting to know right now is that Union Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad has met LK Advani. LK Advani, a big regret day for him. He had once said he regretted this day. One of the saddest days of his life was when the Babri Masjid was torn down. Well, he stands completely acquitted of all possible charges of conspiracy. The Union Minister, Ravi Shankar Prasad, has gone now to meet LK Advani, possibly to congratulate him on getting a complete clean chit. Not just LK Advani, all 32 involved, accused, right now stand acquitted. Will the CBI approach the higher courts? That remains to be seen, because if the CBI has not been able to prove conspiracy in nearly 3 decades, and we're talking 28 years, how is it that they are going to be able to convince the courts, the higher courts here, that there was conspiracy? The verdict today has come from the special CBI court and has acquitted all 32. I'd like to take our viewers through some parts of the verdict delivered by Special Judge LK Advani, in which he has said that the proof which was submitted was in fact tampered with, a grave question being asked of the CBI. On the other hand, he also goes on to say that there is absolutely no proof to suggest that these 32 conspired to tear down the Babri Masjid. He said it was done by unwanted, nefarious elements, and that in fact it was these 32 who were actually trying to protect the structure from being torn down. Net, the word is all 32 today stand acquitted in the criminal case of Babri Masjid demolition. I want to cut across right now, back to Rahul Srivastava, our foreign affairs, our national affairs editor, who's joining us right outside the special CBI court. Let's listen in to all the reactions coming in. Coming in from Murli Manohar Joshi. All right, okay. Not a reaction there. We're going to try and get in a reaction there. But these are visuals of Murli Manohar Joshi. He was keenly watching developments on our sister concern channel Aaj Tak, while LK Advani was watching it on India Today. And these are visuals coming in, really giving no sense of jubilation or joy. He's just seemed to listen to the verdict, which is acquittal, and going about his business. These are visuals coming in from his office. This is Murli Manohar Joshi. Connecting right now back to Rahul Srivastava, who's with us. Rahul, all of these, the biggest names who pretty much formed the future of the Bharatiya Janata Party, changing the political landscape of this country, today stand acquitted. Visuals coming in of Murli Manohar Joshi, LK Advani. You had LK Advani's daughter holding his hand as the verdict was delivered, and he was watching it on India Today, so good choice there. But that aside, of Murli Manohar Joshi hearing the verdict, going about his business, because at some point of time in the last 28 years, Rahul, at some point, each of them, be it Uma Bharti, who took moral responsibility, be it Mr. LK Advani, who called it the saddest day of his life, have somewhere regretted what went down.
Preeti, see, there was something took place on the 6th of December 1992. And all those who were accused by the police or the CBI later have a right to defense. And in their defense, they have cited a whole lot of things. The judiciary will act on the evidences, and justice depends on how investigative agencies present evidence, how they build a case, and eventually how the judges and the judiciary adjudicates on them. The onus of defending themselves were on LK Advani, Murli Manohar Joshi and others, but to prove that they were part of a conspiracy, a crime took place, and they were behind the crime was a task of the CBI. So rightfully, if somebody has to be asked a question today, it is the CBI. If you see the list of, I've been going through a lot of testimonies and statements by leaders who have peppered the CBI with a lot of questions. Virtually, it shows that it was an extremely shoddy job done by the CBI. They are questioning that why evidence was unsubstantiated, why pictures were not with negatives, why videographic evidence was not clear, why there was recordings which had dust, more dust visible and noise in terms of audio clippings than having speeches which were delivered by the people. So the question is, over the last 28 years, whatever transpired, that the CBI, it seems, were more bothered about how to create complexities in the case than generating proper evidence. Why the CBI failed to generate evidence is a question CBI will have to answer. Whether the CBI's evidence and its investigative skills will meet a similar fate in high courts and later in the judiciary, and perhaps putting a permanent question mark on the CBI.
Okay, Rahul, stay with me. Let's listen into all the reactions coming in.
The question is, how confident is the CBI? How much evidence it has?
मंदिर निर्माण का रास्ता साफ हो गया है, हम लोग बरी हो गए हैं। दोस्त ने अपने मस्जिद नहीं तोड़ा है, मंदिर के खंडहर को तोड़ा है, मंदिर के खंडहर को तोड़ा है, ये सिद्ध हो गया है।
Coming in of all the 32 accused leaving the special CBI court. It's been the long haul. They all stand acquitted right now. Will the case close? Well, it all depends on the CBI. Will the CBI now approach the higher court, saying that they do actually have tangible cause where conspiracy is to be proven? Because the courts today have said very clearly that there was no evidence which seemed to suggest that this was premeditated, which meant there is no conspiracy. Going back to Rahul Srivastava right now. Rahul, what we were talking about earlier, now it pretty much rests with the CBI. The verdict raises more questions of the CBI than it actually answers. Because with what went down so publicly at that point of time, today there seems to be absolutely no proof in court to prove premeditation or conspiracy. Will the CBI now approach higher courts? That's the big question.
See, Preeti, even if there was, even if, say, for example, there was no conspiracy, even if one assumes that, there was an assembly which went hostile. It created a law and order situation, a structure which was disputed, caught in a legal tangle for a very long time, was demolished despite an assurance to the Supreme Court. Were there provocative speeches? Were there speeches which were could have created animosity? And later there were riots all over the country. A lot of these were also the other charges. Acquittal on all charges is perhaps a standing testimony of, perhaps I will use some very harsh language, on the incompetence of the CBI as far as this case is concerned. Now, I will add here, was it incompetence of the CBI and inefficiency, or was there